Alright guys, who's ready for us to spill our guts?
That's right, we're about to talk all spoilerific about Shane Black's The Predator. What's up guys, welcome back to the horror show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Got Jaime and Fuego here!
And in case you somehow skipped the intro, we are about to spoil the hell out of The Predator.
Yeah.
2018, directed and written by Shane Black.
And Fred Dekker.
Fred Dekker, of course. And we just talked for probably over 20 minutes about it, non-spoilery, so we're going to
so much more to say.
do the spoilers. Now, Fuego, let's attempt to keep it sort of on...
yes, I saw some of the comments.
Yeah, people didn't like how our non-spoilers were all over the place, so we'll keep
should
it kind
we
of
do
in
it
order.
in the chronology of how the film... Okay.
So the film starts with the smaller Predator ship being chased by the bigger Predator ship as they tear through these awesome Event Horizon-like wormholes.
Yeah, it was kind of Star Trek-y with like just psh, and just go right through.
But it looked so cool. Space looked so amazing. There were like space clouds and things like that where it's not just straight stars.
Oh, yeah, there was some gravity quality-ish kind of just at least like space, creation and stuff.
So they managed to damage the little Predator ship, but it goes through a wormhole before the other one can chase it through.
Yeah, so it cuts it off.
It cuts it off
and know what part of the
doesn't know where the universe went right away.
Say.
Yeah, the galaxy.
As
right.
Olivia Munn clarified.
She was clarified that galaxy is even bigger, right? She was making a point that it was a bigger, grandiose thing. So anyway, the little Predator crashes onto Earth, and he crashes, as we said in the non-spoiler, where our main character is about to snipe a Mexican cartel guy. Yeah. And he does so. I like it really quick. He's like, oh shit, spaceship.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go find out what that is.
Yeah, exactly. But he still like makes his shot.
Yeah. And then the ship almost crashes into him. Actually,
oh, he has to jump out of the flipping way, man.
And then he wakes up, and we get our first action scene right there.
Boom, just right to it, where he discovers some pieces from his from the Predator who just crashed, like a little bit of his armor, gauntlet, and his little invisibility, like, steel ball thing.
But, the little cloaking ball. And
what he does with that.
The little Predator, like, attacks him, but the gauntlet defends him, and the sort of glaive thing jumps out, and it's really cool because it goes through the Predator and through the Predator's first victim,
which was somebody from his like little
battalion or company,
or whatever.
And it cuts it cuts the body in half, and then you see, oh, this is going to be gore-tastic because the intestines drop down and start.
But
and
actually, they just hung there. I thought they were eventually going to fall.
They hung there, but the blood doused the cloaking mechanism of the Predator. Yeah. So the blood on the Predator's face is what made the cloaking thing disappear.
Yep.
So that was really cool. And then, the guy makes a run for it, and the Predator's eyes open. Yep. But that's the Predator they end up capturing.
Yep, and that's when Sterling K. Brown pops on the scene, man. And I gotta say, it's funny because he's chewing the scenes right away. He's chewing his mouth full of flipping gum and stuff, man.
Nicorette, of course, is sort of the
was it Nicorette? I couldn't
It's
tell.
got to be a smoking gum.
Yeah. Well, just the neurotic nature of his character and stuff. But yeah, chewing apart the scenes, man, and just very fun and very just, I don't know, sharp but amusing, and yet also you can tell there's a darkness to him because this is unfortunately another one of those movies with the evil government organization cliche,
and they're the ones
one of my problems with this movie.
Yeah, they're the ones that have the Predator stuff from the first two movies.
Yeah, and
in the T2 like thing that I was talking about in the regular movie.
It's basically the same peeps that Gary Busey was working for in the second movie, so they kind of tied in that continuity, which is probably why we get Jake Busey. You assume it's his son. They've implied in promotional material that it is, but
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
and then we also meet Olivia Munn, who is the scientist recruited by Sterling K. Brown, exactly, because she talked about genetic splicing, and that's what ends up being sort of at the core of the reveal of the big Predator.
And I honestly didn't like that angle.
I didn't either. So they find out, she tests some blood, and it turns out that the Predator has some human DNA.
Which was amusing, where they're like, did somebody go an alien?
Yeah, that's right. They're like, you want to know if someone blanked an alien.
Exactly.
And they're just like...
a horizontal polka.
Yeah.
like Eric with the stuff.
But anyway, so essentially what they're doing is the Predators are out there, and this is the reveal little bit out of order, but it's not terrible. It's not going to ruin anything.
We're trying here, guys. Sorry, we're not
so
trying
the
to
big
jump around
reveal
anything.
is the big predators are the genetic sort of evolution of the predator race. They go around to the different planets and they hunt the biggest and the best that planet has to offer,
Yeah, the strongest, the best genetic specimens.
right, hence Predator 1. And it also gave a reason as to why they rip out spines and heads.
Yeah, which was actually that I liked.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That revelation I liked.
So the reason is because there's a bit of DNA in that portion of our bodies that they extract and use to blend into their sort of predator enhancing soup.
It's like right by where the soul gland is.
Or the hypothalamus if you're Relic fans. So anyway, so anyway, yeah, that's what they're doing. That's how they're enhancing themselves. They're finding the best fighters on all the planets they hunt on and using those hunting traits to make themselves better. And that's also why they happen to be tracking down what you think is the main character.
Yeah, McKenna.
But it turns out that the whole time the Predator is actually trying to hunt down McKenna's son.
Yeah, the Jacob Tremblay character.
Jacob Tremblay, autistic special needs character. Because
picked on by the bullies, but he's really smart.
He's picked on by the bullies.
He can reset chessboards just based
that
on
was
visual
cool.
memory.
That scene was awesome. So there's a scene where he, the fire alarm was pulled by some bullies at the school. He's in the chess club. And he's like watching this chess.
I'm hungry for
game.
Asperger's. Yeah, Asperger's.
He's watching this chess game, and a kid makes a move, and he's just like, "Oh!" And then the fire alarm gets pulled. They all leave.
Excited when he saw the move too.
They all leave. The bullies come in and pick on him, and as they leave, they knock all the chess pieces off the board. And then in like what's that Russell Crowe movie? Beautiful Mind sort of situation. He goes and he picks up all the chess pieces and puts them all back on like 5 different boards exactly as they were. That was really cool. But he also happens to be able to operate the Predator machinery that his dad finds and mails back to the U.S. so he doesn't have to get caught with it.
Yeah, so he sends back the faceplate like helmet type thing,
that
and
the
arm cannon and the gauntlet. Yeah, and then the cloaking device he basically takes down with a shot of tequila in a bar. And so he's like he's trying to smuggle through his anus
alien contraband.
Exactly. Yeah. So but he ends up getting captured anyway. So it's like, what does it matter? Although,
but they don't find it though.
Yeah. But he still gets captured. Although he did it because he probably knew he was going to get captured anyway.
Right. No. So that's when he joins up with the crew on the bus that we see, and you get the funny it's a really great intro scene.
Mentally unstable veterans, and they're all on this bus because they're going to Group 2,
exactly, and they find out that that our main character, he tells them that he saw an alien, and then like in the last trailer that was released, they see the alien, and like they all see it except for the guy in the back. He's like, "I didn't see it, guys. Where is it?" Like there was so many funny little tags in the movie that he's just like, "I want to see it."
Some of the best scenes were that guy's just like, I mean him and Thomas Jane and their just unawareness and obliviousness in certain situations was pricelessly funny. Yeah. And I still contend that those are my favorite scenes in the movie. Not as much the action scenes. It was just the banter and the character building with all those people, man. And they start right off the bat initially when they throw him in that bus. You can tell there's energy in that scene right off the bat, man.
So while that's going on, the Predator, the small Predator, is in the examination room, and he wakes up. Because he sort of feels that the hunter predator enters the atmosphere through another awesome wormhole.
Tracking him, man.
And so the predator gets up,
but the predator finds out where to go because of the kid turning on the technology.
Right, the kid turns on the technology, which is why the hunter knows where to go. But this scene, when the predator breaks out, this is essentially the Vader at the end of Rogue One scene.
But R-rated.
So awesome though, like it rips people apart, and there's one scene, there's one bit of it at the very end. He like throws a guy on the table, and he takes someone else out, and then as he's walking out, he just goes whoosh, and just flicks his hand and just rips the guy's like face half off with just the flick of a wrist.
It's a bad.
It was
scene.
so
It's
awesome.
a little CGI heavy here and there,
who cares, though?
but
It was so
well
fun.
done. I mean, Vader was all CG'd in that kill scene at the end of Rogue One. Anyway.
It was so satisfying to see how, and it was a bare bones Predator, stripped of all of his weaponry.
Oh yeah,
just the big Predator, just his claws, and it was
just
so
sheer
cool.
Force of power and will and
I love that scene. I thought it was great.
It was a killer.
So he escapes, and that's when the guys on the bus see him running.
And you have Olivia Munn running as fast as this Predator
after getting naked,
reason.
and the Predator seeing her.
But
completely naked.
And yet showing sympathy, just like in the first Predator.
Showing sympathy, yep. But also it turns out,
and also the naked woman in Predator 2.
Well, not only that, but it turns out that the Predator wasn't here to actually kill us. It was here to help us.
But then that's what makes you wonder about that being a Predator with human DNA in it at one particular point, and like if like it was obviously
it wasn't because of that. I think it's just they said that the big Predators want to terraform Earth. They want to take Earth.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
but the little predators still want to be able to come back and hunt here. That's why that's their central conflict.
And we found out in the third movie, Predators, that yes, the bigger predators hunt the little predators. Mm-hmm. They say that at one particular point in the third Predator.
And this is a continuation of that.
It is, yeah. It fits within that universe, despite not directly referencing the third Predators movie. Really, there's direct reference to 1 and 2, where they're like they came in '87, they came in '97, even though it was released in 1990, but nonetheless,
because it was set in '97.
It was, yeah. The one with Danny Glover.
So anyway, the kid, the Predator is able to access the site of his helmet that's at the kid's house,
and he sees that was a dope scene.
He sees the address of the school, which is where we get the very first confrontation between the hunter predator, the first and only confrontation between the hunter predator and the little one that you see in the trailer. And
of course, like it happening in the school. I thought it was just.
Well, I didn't mind. We knew that's where it was going to happen. Based on
I knew. That doesn't mean I was happy from the trailer.
I did think that the head rip, which was foretold by the poster, I thought that was sort of
it was too CG, man.
It happened too quick and it was too CG.
Yeah,
but I did like that he just ripped the head out and threw it aside.
True.
He didn't like.
Well, I thought the head rip of one bigger predator to a smaller predator in the previous one was better. Honestly.
Yeah.
I thought that.
I think so too.
Was better done.
But
anyway.
That was that, and then it just became the big predator versus the humans at that point.
Shredder predator.
Yeah, it really was, because that's the thing. Size-wise, the regular predators are about 7 feet tall. This predator is 11 feet tall. They say at one point.
Over 10 feet.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool, and the first 2/3 set up everything, and then the last third is where it all sort of comes tumbling down, unfortunately. All the characters make it through the first 2/3, and then
which I was very surprised by.
Yeah, and then they just have to sort of run through them all in the last third.
Let's plow through them all and kill them all very quickly, and in some ways interesting, and in other ways you're just like, really?
Yeah.
But it all happened so quickly.
First one is Theon Greyjoy. He gets taken out from behind when they're setting up.
Which was cool, but it was in like poor lighting, so you couldn't really see how much of the arm was taken off.
It was a Jaws 4 moment.
Yeah, a little bit. Although that Jaws 4 moment, that stuff with them singing the Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And
that one haunts my dreams still. Oh my god.
Yeah. So then
sorry, guys.
the big predator attacks, and Thomas Jane and Keegan-Michael Key are believed to have sort of a kind of relationship.
Well, no, you find out that they were stationed together.
They were stationed together, and they're super close.
Yeah.
And they, Thomas Jane ends up getting thrown onto a tree branch way up high, like ritual style.
Impaled.
And then Keegan-Michael Key gets one of the blades that the big predator fires in the Red Band trailer that demolishes someone. Mm-hmm. Same blade, but all it does is disembowel Key. And so he's on the ground,
they're both dying,
leaning against a tree, looking up, and they like nod at each other. And so they both pull out guns and pull the trigger at the exact same time and kill each other.
They did each other.
So it's like, it's silly, but it actually was like effective enough that like no one laughed, So that was cool. And then I'm trying to remember some of the others before we get to the ship taking off.
No, there was really, Sterling K. Brown killing himself.
Oh, that was great, because Sterling K. Brown has the shoulder cannon from the older Predator movies.
I hated them enemies and then their teaming up bit. I thought
it happened too easy.
way too.
Yeah, it happened too
We're gonna
easy.
dance afterwards because we need to band together.
You
We were
knew
just
that wasn't
all
gonna
killing
happen.
each other. We were all killing each other like 10 minutes ago.
But that's what was funny. This guy was such a gleeful prick. He laughed a lot through the movie, and I enjoyed every time he laughed.
He had some funny lines.
So
to
the cannon
kid
was
where he's-
firing from here, and then something happened where there was a threat detected on this side of him, and so the cannon just goes whoop, and then blows his fucking
his
head
head
right
off.
off.
Yeah.
It was really, I thought that was funny,
that
but
was
it happened
funny.
so fast.
It did. You're like, wait,
You barely
did he just
registered
die?
what just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, his head's gone.
Yeah.
And then, and so the big predator, it turns out he is not going after Big McKenna. He's going after Son
the
McKenna.
son, like we said,
because what they posit is that humans with special needs are actually the next step in the evolutionary ladder.
As Olivia
So
Munn
this
instructs us.
kid is so smart that he's taking him in order to eventually pull his spine out and extract his DNA.
We're gonna eat your
I don't know
DNA
why they
and
didn't
make
just
you-
do that, but
get your
they
knowledge.
took the kid, and so he's taking off in a ship, and the last three remaining members of the group 2, they jump on the ship, and they're like holding on like cowboys when the big predator turns on the shield.
Yeah. And
And-
so it basically has almost like a shield that's somewhere between the concealing cloak thing.
Yeah, it's a cloaking / shield, but it obviously is just outside the ship, and it starts to slowly come up, and
Which
this
was
is
a
the
very cool idea.
It was. And this is the moment that we were referring to in the first review where he was talking Underworld and I was talking Resident Evil, because you see it happening.
And you're like,
and the three guys
please
are like,
let it
oh,
happen."
what's going to happen? Is it going to cut them in half or something like that? So one guy dives under it, one guy jumps over in time, and the other guy gets cut off at the knees and slides off the ship as it's taking off and stuff like
Which
that.
was pretty dope, I gotta say.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
it looked a little CGI. That whole scene for me looked so green screen that it pulled me out a little bit. But
it
you
did,
know,
a little bit. But then Nebraska, who is the guy that was on top of
chain
the shield,
smoking the whole time.
the only thing he can do to stop the ship from taking off, he sees the engine, so he just looks at the guy and he flips him off, and then jumps off and shoots the engine as he gets sucked into it in order to take down the Predator ship. So he does. And then we get the final confrontation, right?
Which sucked in my opinion.
Really? Okay.
I thought it was
it was our main guy, and Olivia Munn actually jumps
Olivia
in on
Munn
the action.
shows up to save his ass, and she's this tiny little thing and jumps on the huge 11-foot predator.
And the kid is controlling the shield from from inside, which is kind of cool. He turns the shield on as the predator has his hand on the ship, so he gets the arm cut off. That was kind of cool.
I'm gonna be honest, I hated the end of this movie.
Wow, jeez.
Hated the end of this
Whew.
movie. That is why I came in with the non-spoiler, guns blasting a little bit at first. I even thought about saying this is the worst Predator. It's my least favorite of the Predator movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just
Even-
because
I
the ending ruined it that much for you.
hated the ending. I thought
But
it
it can't
sucked
ruin
and
the
was
rest of the
boring.
movie was so
And
entertaining,
that's
though.
what, as we started talking about the rest of the movie, like the last 20 minutes or so of this film, I hated,
rough.
including the ending. The ending.
It was Wonder
ending-
Woman.
The ending was awful.
It was Wonder Woman.
Absolutely
The first
awful.
2/3 of Wonder Woman is great, but the last act is just such usual DC
By the
CG
books,
garbage.
BS.
And that is kind of where this ended up going.
Yeah, and let's just
It was
say
still
goodbye.
entertaining.
No one's going to
CG
remember them,
garbage,
so let's try
But the
to.
very last confrontation is very lackluster.
It was so lackluster, and so I'm like,
and the
even
friendly
compared-
dog. We never even talked about the friendly predator dog.
Terrible. I hated the Predator dogs. The fact that one of them takes a liking to Olivia. It was Olivia Munn's character. Well, no.
Well, no,
pretty much all
so
of them, it
let's
seemed
set
like.
up the friendly predator dog. So there were like 3 predator dogs or 2, and they all corner the
He's
characters.
a serious hunter. He's got his dogs with him. or
Yeah,
whatever
so
they
so
say.
the predator dogs corner them on a baseball field.
Think nowhere
They
near as
take
cool.
out 2 of them, and in a really really awesome moment at the time,
very CG.
Nebraska
but still.
walks up, just literally walks up on its blind spot, and just No Country for Old Men's him and pops him in the side of the head.
Yeah.
And the thing just like starts shaking its head and just like wanders off, and they let it go. And then it ends up coming back later like
And
it
yet-
was lobotomized.
Yeah, but wasn't it funny how even after they saw that shot and they're like, oh, Nebraska's not that good of a shot. Boyd Holbrook's character just goes and shoots the one he had just
I
killed
didn't even
again.
get the fucking joke that he screwed up 2 headshots.
Yeah.
He screwed up his own and
Yeah.
he screwed up the dog. Oh my god, I didn't even realize
There's
that.
There's some
Jesus. This character's thing is that he tried to kill himself and he missed, or he did it wrong and he didn't succeed. And then he walked up and shoots the thing in the head and he missed again. I didn't even realize that happened. See, that's hilarious, though.
Yeah, it is.
That's
and those
funny
are the type
writing.
of just very smart, interconnected bits that the movie was so smart yet so dumb at times too, which is why I don't know. Dumb thing. If I can just say random dumb thing besides the dogs that irritated the hell out of me. I was personally bothered by the very obvious product placement of alcohol in this movie. I thought it was very blatant, and I thought it's one thing where they show the Don Julio bottle very prominently, especially since I love Don Julio, but they showed it twice when he was pouring, and then right there, close up, takes the shot, put it right back down, right in the center of the
I didn't even
shot.
notice it though.
But what more so for me was the fact that it's okay, these characters are in a serious life and death situation, trying to track this, and they're all just sitting around drinking beers, hanging out, all drinking their Budweisers, just hanging out. I felt like that product placement especially, it made me take the narrative less seriously. I'm like, these people are idiots. They're gonna go save the world and they're just sitting around getting drunk, It felt to me like maybe not even so much lazy writing, but product placement that kind of made me feel like the writing was catering to something specifically that I felt hindered the narrative and the credibility of the characters a little bit. But then again, I don't know. Perhaps I'm mistaken about this, but that's just my god honest opinion. I was like, really? Okay, guys.
Well,
whatever.
and then there is the final tag of the movie after the Predator gets. How does the Predator get taken out? I can't even remember.
She jumps on his back and then shoots him up in the head, and
that dazes him.
Yeah, and then Homeboy goes and kicks him. This huge thing, and he's able to go and knock into the big 11-foot Predator, Boyd Holbrook, and knock him off that little smaller cliff area.
Right.
And then he comes with another gun, and they blast him in the head, and he's like, "What are you?" And then he just shoots him again after asking him a question. I was just like,
that's true.
The dialogue was terrible at the end of this movie.
Bad.
And the scene was anticlimactic and boring compared to I was more enthralled with the grandiosity of the ship bit with them getting all sliced up by the shield and stuff than I was that fight at the end. And then where the tacked on bit at the very, very end where, the kid is working for the government and everything. And yet it's everything's apparently totally forgiven with this government agency.
Yeah, the kid working at the government, I was like, oh.
Well, and also he's he's back in his military uniform, the Father McKenna character, and, everything is okay. And they're obviously working in cahoots with, I don't know. There was so much unexplained government secret,
Well, but then you find out what the deal was. So the little Predator was trying to deliver something to the human race to help us fight the bigger predators and keep Earth from falling into their hands.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be essentially the Guyver suit with Predator upgrades. It's a thing that basically then creates the whole suit around the person, and it looks like kind of a Predator, but an extraordinarily CG Predator, but with multiple shoulder cannons and multiple sort of spike fire things. And then it sort of retracts itself and drops off the scientist, and Boyd Holbrook's like, "That's my suit. That's my new suit, is what that is." And it's like, oh, okay, so they're setting it up. We're gonna get more big predators coming, and he's going to use this suit to fight him, which honestly I'm okay with. But the end felt a lot closer to the end of Skyline than anything else, where the guy gets alien powers and is like, "We're going to fight now."
That scene sucked, in my opinion.
It was rough. It was kind of a rough way to end it.
It was very poorly acted, and it felt like they were just rushing the ending into play.
It was a very B-movie ending.
Yes. There was so much in the third act of this film that really just made me temporarily forget how much I loved the first 2/3 of this film, where the dialogue was sharp and well delivered, and it was hammy and stupid in the third act. It was once again, the fact that we're industry people and we know that they made Shane Black scrap his originally shot, edited, and the cut he delivered to the studio's third act. They said it doesn't have enough action in it. That was specifically, I didn't mention this in the non-spoiler, the studio demanded more action. They said it was too boring of a finale, whatever.
I really want to know what that was then.
Me too. So they went for big, stupid Michael Bay Independence Day just total BS, man. Bullshit away, and it made me temporarily, at least, forget about how much fun I had with the first 2/3 of the movie. Because for me, once again, the last 25 minutes or so of this film felt like a different movie to me.
Yeah,
it did. It lost its tone. It lost its balance. It lost its sharp wit and its smarts. It really did.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah.
But I will say that one of the funny things that we didn't mention...
so damn good.
Yeah, one of the things in the first 2/3 that we didn't mention was another clever callback to the first one, I thought. And that was when Olivia Munn first sees it and gets up close to it. And she's looking at it and she's like, You're one beautiful motherfucker. It was really cool.
And there
the whole
were
audience
so
got a laugh
many
out of it,
funny beats like that of just characters interacting with one another, man. I mean, I laughed so hard where the elevator is going down and he's like
is it your imagination or is this haunted room stretching? and then the other guy's like every fucking time really like that was hilarious.
That was so Shane Black bits like that. And the scene where they all get to the house of his wife and everything, and where Thomas Jane like looking at the nudie stuff, and then oh goodness, was
Olivia Munn is going to the door trying to leave,
that was
and he's just like
too.
eat your pussy, and she's like, what'd you say? He's just like, I didn't say anything. And she's just like, no, you said eat your pussy. And he's just like, no, I said you're a wussy or something like that. Like everyone's trying to cover it up, and it kept going on. Like the whole interaction went on and on and on. It was so funny though.
It was.
Oh man,
so much of it was quick with the quips, man. It really was, and that was where it was those scenes where you felt the Shane Blackism of it. You know, I would honestly think that Fred Dekker maybe was more so responsible for co-writing the action beats with him and stuff like that, but the dialogue it had Shane Black just razor sharp written all over it, man. If you like, I mean, from the Lethal Weapons to even the third Iron Man, as much as I didn't like a lot of it, I thought the dialogue was really good in the third Iron Man and, you know, the nice guys. I mean, the guy's done a ton of stuff at this point, so, yeah, I mean, it definitely had his imprint on it for most of it, is what I will contend.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'm with you, man. I wish I could find out what that original cut and what his original ideas for a finale actually entailed. You know?
Yeah, I'd be interested to find out.
Maybe we'll have some deleted scenes on the Blu-ray release or something. But as a whole, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I definitely liked it way more than once again, man. damn, I just can't I can't help but keep coming back to it. So and I didn't like the school stuff in the suburban setting, and it was very convenient and cliched, and you know, certain justifications and whatnot, and many things were overlooked. But as a whole, it was fun, and fun is what you want from a film like this. It was the most fun of the Predator movies since the first one. I will give it that, as far as just being lighthearted and just until it lost its way. But, you know, for most of the way, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, so there you go, guys. I think that's going to do it for all of our spoiler thoughts on The Predator, Shane Black's 2018 The Predator. Let us know in the comments down below if you're excited about this one, if you actually watched all the way to the end. Thank you. But tell me why you guys like watching the spoilers. I'd be interested to find out. But also, what are you most excited about that we told you about? So
one more thing I have to posit is that with the acquisition of Fox by Disney, and with all this speculation that, you know, we're not going to see any like hard R Alien and Predator films anymore after this, that's a shame, because I wouldn't, as violent and vulgar and nuts as this movie was at times, you probably will not see another Predator like this, maybe ever. Which
you're a lot more alarmist on that than I am.
You think
I don't
so?
think it's going to be that case, but
well, we'll see.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think down below. Also, thank you very much to our patrons for supporting the channel. The link is in the description box down below if you want to become a patron, and you can choose some movies for us to review or commentate on, or even Let's Plays, things like that. We're going to be getting our live streaming back in just a matter of a couple of weeks, so we'll be back doing that very soon. Thank you guys very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I've been Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.